Did you know that this lady, Henrietta Lacks, who died in 1951, became biologically immortal? I'm going to tell you why. There has been both a film and a book about this because it's such an interesting story. Now, Henrietta Lacks was a 31-year-old lady who lived in Baltimore, Maryland. Sadly, she started to feel like she had a knot low down in her stomach, and people kept telling her that she was pregnant, but sadly there was something much more complicated going on. She had cervical cancer. Now, the science of cancer is complex, but I am a medical doctor, so for the purpose of this video, I'm going to give you a brief overview of what happens. So you have a normal cell, there will be some sort of cell damage, and you get a mutation. So a cancer cell should grow and it should be able to reproduce, but it also needs to know when to stop, right? Now, that should be okay, even if it can't turn itself off. It's because we have something called a policeman of the cell, which if a cell goes slightly awry, for instance, it's got one mutation, then the cell decides that it's gone wrong, and because it's a team player, the policeman of the cell says, you are wrong, and it induces it to commit suicide, a process called apoptosis. It's happening in us all the time and prevents us from getting cancer. But what happens if that policeman of the cell is also disarmed? You've now got a cell that cannot kill itself, that is stuck in the growth cycle, and that is what happens in cancer. So we know that Henrietta had cervical cancer. She was only 31 years old, she had a life ahead of her, and she had 5 children. Now, during her treatment, she had cells taken from her cervix. Now, these were taken without her knowledge, without her family's knowledge, and even after her death, cells were taken without anyone really speaking to her family or getting permission to do so. Now, I want to ask you just a sec. Imagine your wife, who's only 31, is in the chapel of rest and someone has gone and taken samples from her cervix. It's unbelievable. Now, these were no ordinary cells, so dubbed the Heller line based on Henrietta's first and last name. These were the first cells in history which were able to reproduce on their own in a petri dish. So these cells were in effect immortal, and they still live today. So they've been used for all kinds of great things. They've been used to help create the polio vaccine, in the treatment of the cancer, AIDS. They've even been into space. But the thing is, no one ever asked her family, no one ever asked her while she was alive. And whilst Johns Hopkins didn't make any profit from these cells, other people have made profit. There have been about 11,000 patents filed on Henrietta Lacks cells, and her family, they didn't even know that these cells had been taken for more than 20 years. Whilst the Heller line has done immeasurable good for humanity, we cannot discount the fact that this was taken without anyone's say-so. This is a part of Henrietta. This is the cancer that effectively killed her, took her away at 31 from her children, and there has never been any regard for her family, for her. Ultimately, without her say-so, what lives on of Henrietta Lacks is her cancer. It's the thing that killed her. And that's something that she did not agree to.